Folks, welcome back to another Panther platform video. We are trying to get the vibration figured out in my manual swap 2011 Ford Crown Victoria P7B. If you guys don't know the history on this car, I bought this off of my son recently. It is manual swap. He bought it that way. He got a lot of work done to it, but one of the things that he could never straighten out was the driveline vibration. So in this video, we're gonna get a baseline measurement on one of the many Crown Vics that's lying around my property and compare it to what's here. And by the end of the video, hopefully we'll have this vibration problem fixed. And if you've run into something like this, hopefully this video helps you out. So let's get the driveline angle checked on this one, and then we'll compare it to the baseline car. So as a reference point, we've got to find something that's flat. And where I found was right here on top of this throttle body. There's a flat spot, there's no bumps, there's no rocks. This way, we can use the same position on our donor car, which is the baseline. So this one's giving us a reading of about 6 or 7. So there we're sitting at about 3 degrees, maybe a little bit more. And according to the mark that I had on the other car, at just a touch over 7. That's about a 4-degree difference if my math is correct. And I think that's a lot, especially when it comes to universal joint angles. So let's go inside, get the car up in the air, and see if there's something we can do to bring that angle back to about 3 or 4. So we know what our baseline is up underneath the hood. Let's get a baseline down here to see if we can make some adjustments without having to run the car up and down. I think I already see the problem, but let's get our baseline first. So right here, we're gonna use the bottom of the transmission because it's the only flat spot I can find. And right there, it seems to be at about 5 degrees. So I'm gonna see if we can't gain at least 2 or 3 degrees from this. But like I said, I think I already see what the issue is. So there is our yoke right there. And I can already see that the transmission looks like it's pointed down. And then this part of the drive shaft looks like it's actually, you know, kind of parallel with the bottom of the floor. And then we come back to this next joint. So we've got a joint here, a joint there, and a steady bearing in the middle. So don't ask me what this is from, this drive shaft. I have no idea. This is the way we bought the car. And then when we get back here, like I said, this middle section where the steady bearing is looks like it's fairly straight. We come back here and then it comes back down this way. So we've got like a upward incline, level, and then another upward incline. I'm not sure that's the way it's supposed to be. I think that we've got to get the transmission tail shaft up a little bit. And as you can see, this cross member was cut out for this joint. And I'll have to get you in here. So if you can see right there, there's our transmission quote unquote mount. Yep, that's a hockey puck. We're gonna try and slide another one up in there. We're gonna try and shim that hockey puck up there a bit more to see if we can get the tail shaft up. But I think if we do that, that should straighten out our drive shaft a little bit. But then when we come back here to the steady bearing, it might be off a little bit. But again, I think we can shim that a little bit more than we already have. It's something we're going to be doing 2 or 3 times and playing around with, but as you can tell up in there. But one problem that we're having is the remote shifter coming up. We don't have a whole lot of room to move things. So I'm thinking if we shift that tail shaft up, it may create some more problem for us there. So maybe we remove those shims to bring that section down, bring the tail shaft up, and maybe that will give us a little bit straighter line the whole way through, even bringing this section down just a hair. Well, we are some close to that shifter right there. And all I've done is I've added 2 washers to the bottom of that to help bring that up. Of course, I got no bolt in it yet, so it's not drawing it close. And according to the level gauge on the bottom of the transmission where I had it before, it's showing no change. But let's drop the car, put it back up on the intake on the throttle body where we had it before, and see what it reads. Yeah, see right there, it's still showing the same. So how is it we can tilt the transmission up and not change that angle? Am I missing something here? Let's get her back up in the air. All right, I don't know where I left off in this video of the whole drive shaft debacle. Up until this point, several weeks ago, I was messing around with angles, trying to shim it and do a bunch of stuff. To no avail because I can't get the transmission high enough to accommodate fixing the angle. But with some help from some of you viewers, we have found that later model Ford Rangers had this little slip joint in the front, and they were flanged just like the TR3650 that we have here. When I measured the drive shaft from the center of the front U-joint to the center of the rear U-joint on this car, it was 59 3/8 inches. And on a 2011 Ford Ranger four-wheel drive extended cab, that's pretty much what the measurement is from the center of the U-joint here to the center of the U-joint here. Plus, we've got a little bit of collapsibility or extension here if we need it. So let's get the old drive shaft out of this one, compare it to this one, and we'll see if the bolt pattern on the flanges is the same. If it is, we are freaking golden. If not, we're changing the flange here as well as this one here at the rear for the ones that's on the existing drive shaft. So let me get this one out and we'll get started. So we've got the vibrating drive shaft out. And in my opinion, the reason why it was vibrating is because we've got a joint here, steady bearing here, joint here, and a joint there. Although all the U-joints are good, we just had too much of an angle from one point to the next. We had an angle from here to here, and that was twisted a bit. But we also had one from here to here, which was giving us too much and making things vibrate. And based on looking at the overall length, of course, this one's extended a little bit here and it's about to fall off the tires, but I think the overall length is the same. I took a measurement here on the bolt pattern, 3 1/8 between here and here, and 4 1/4 between here and here. It's the same here on this old drive shaft that we're taking out. So I'm gonna try and put this in and see if it's actually going to clear the bracket that was made to hold the steady bearing. Because if not, we're going to cut that out, which is no big deal. We've had it cut out before when we took the transmission out of this thing. So let's grab the Ford Ranger drive shaft, stick it up in here, see if we can make it work. Okay, so it does bolt in direct. No spacers, no nothing. We're clearing our hanger here. We are clearing our bracket that was made for the steady bearing here, and everything bolted up here, and the actual slide on that slip yoke or slip joint didn't move a whole lot. So now comes the test. We are going to take this thing down the road, see if our vibration is gone. Let's do that. Okay, so we're in the car. I've got the map light on here, the ticket light, and we're gonna see if this thing is actually no longer vibrating. In fact, I'm gonna use red light because it's less hard on the face. And I should know almost immediately. Oh yeah, no more vibration. We have got ourselves a legit friggin' hot rod, boys. This thing is no more vibrations. There's fourth gear. Man, I am so friggin' stoked with this thing right now. I've got a car I can actually drive now. No more friggin' vibrating drive shaft conglomeration, whatever it was to begin with. Oh man, I'm so freaking stoked. I'm gonna put the camera down, I'm gonna go have some fun, and I'll be right back to end this video. Well guys, it's official. We finally have a manual swapped Crown Vic that we can drive daily. And what gives this thing the ability to drive daily? That is if you're using an 05 or newer T3650 transmission out of a Ford Mustang, then you've got to use a drive shaft out of a 2011, I think it's 05 to 11, Ford Ranger four-wheel drive extended cab that measures overall from the center of the U-joint to the center of the U-joint, 59 3/8 inches. It bolts on direct, almost like it belonged there. with no steady bearing and absolutely no vibration so long as your U-joints are good. And in this case, it was a junkyard drive shaft. The U-joints were good. So when you buy somebody else's project, in this case, it was a manual swap Crown Vic, there's a lot of work that you've got to do to compensate for the neglect that it didn't have starting out. When we bought this thing, it started and drove up onto the trailer, but it would never start again. And when it did, you had to clear all the codes and it only ran at limited power. No thanks to Marty Ox from Mo Speed Shop. He gave us a tune that eliminated everything to do with the automatic transmission. We still have a few lights on the dash, which are O2 sensor related. There's a couple little things that we're going to get to, and ABS. Those are totally unrelated to the swap. But as it sits, I've got myself one hell of a winter beater. I've got 4 brand new winter tires coming. We'll get those put on, and this thing is going to be an absolute ripper this winter here in New Brunswick, Canada. So guys, if you found this video informative for your manual swap Crown Vic using the later years of a TR3650, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to Olde Carr Guy, because we got a big project planned for this manual swap Crown Vic. If you watch me on Instagram, you'll know I've alluded to some of the details. If not, you're gonna have to stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to Olde Carr Guy. Guys, stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you, God bless. Let's do it again in the next video. We're gonna have some fun with this SOB.